Hi, what fun, my first comment and Q&A video, but it's actually a bit more than that. It's got some juicy tidbits too, because some people in the comments actually asked me to cover some parts of the book, and they probably aren't long enough for a whole video on their own, but they're well worth mentioning. So that's sort of the purpose of this video. I'm responding to comments and good suggestions and good ideas in your comments. Also some questions and also some funny comments. So part 2 in the book, chapter 7. And it covers the time where Harry is staying at a pub called Knight's Hill, and it's near Sandringham. So it's just up the road where Prince Charles and Camilla were staying at the time. And he was getting combat ready, and in order to get combat ready, he had to be trained in controls. And controls apparently are when you are the jargon that is spoken to other aircraft that are in your immediate area. You've got to have the right jargon, the right way to talk to other pilots, the right way to talk to other aircraft. And he was learning these controls. So in order to learn these, so he could be combat ready, he was in a field, in a marshy field on a quad bike, and he was actually controlling a Typhoon plane that was in the air. And Prince Charles saw that planes were doing low passes over the seawall at Sandringham, and so he hopped in his Audi and he figured that it was Harry. And so he went to go and find him, and he found him in this marshy field, and they had a very brief conversation, and Prince Charles told Harry how proud he was of him and how seriously he was taking this training. That's all paraphrasing. And then Prince Charles realised that he was busy, and Harry said, well, look, I'm in mid-control here. I've got to go. And Harry was just waiting for the Typhoon to actually make an appearance in the sky where he could see them. So Prince Charles hops back in his Audi and heads back up a country lane road, heading back towards home. Now, at that time, this is what Prince Harry did. So as Prince Charles is driving away, Harry says, I told the Typhoon, and this is a direct quote from the book, brief, direct quote in the interests of being accurate, new target, grey Audi. And then he gives it the position, and then he also says that there's towards a big silver barn that's orientated east-west. So new target, grey Audi. And then he says the Typhoon tracked par, did a low pass straight over him, and apparently it was so low over the Audi that it almost shattered Prince Charles' windows in his car. Now, personal opinion, can you imagine how terrifying that would have been? To have a Typhoon do a low pass over your car while you're driving, when you're the heir apparent to the then Queen, you're in a car on your own, and an aircraft does a low pass over your car. I know that he would have assumed that it was Harry, but it also would have been unsettling and terrifying, because I guess he couldn't be 100% sure that it was Harry. And then at the end of that, he said, after they did the low pass and nearly shattered the windows of the Audi, but ultimately spared him on my orders. It went on to blow a silver barn to smithereens. I leave you that. I'm not going to add any comment to that. I thank the gentleman that first drew my attention to that. And I leave that there for you to make your own conclusions and your own thoughts and your own opinions. I've got to put people out of their misery, because a few videos back, I said about a sentence that had been skipped over and that a lot of people had missed. And then I forgot to come around and tell you what it was, and drove people mad. And I don't blame you. It wasn't contrived or deliberate, I assure you. I genuinely forgot to circle back and tell you what it was. So now I will tell you what it was. It was in relation to Harry and Meghan sort of giving the impression that they were somehow at a disadvantage by living at Knot Cot. But the sentence I was talking about was when he was talking to the Queen on the phone, he said something. So, direct quote, "We discussed our housing situation with the palace and we'd been offered several properties. But each was too grand and they thought too expensive to renovate." So that was the sentence. They'd been offered several properties by the palace prior to him asking the Queen, and that's when she gave them Frogmore Cottage. So that didn't ever really get emphasised in the documentary or really emphasised in the book. But what did get emphasised was how that they were at a disadvantage compared to Prince William and Catherine. Next bit. Okay, many in the Meghan Page's videos agreed about the obstetrician not picking up on her depression. And there was also a lot of other comments referring to rumour and unfound theories about Meghan and her pregnancy. I'm never going to address those in a video, not unless irrefutable proof and also maybe a book's written about it, because I do book reviews. But there was funny ones too, and I'll read you a few. Most likely, Meghan was upset because she stood right next to a magazine with her photo on it and no one looked at her. And many brought up the incident that if the incident really did happen in Whole Foods, many of you were saying, well, then where is the video online? If a whole line of people pulled out their phones and filmed her, where is the evidence online? And I thought that was a really great point. A lot of you made that point. A lot of you also helped me out by telling me that there wasn't tabloids next to the checkouts at Whole Foods. Interestingly enough, I have to make a small correction. In Harry's book, he doesn't say Kensington Whole Foods. He says a supermarket in Kensington within short walking distance of where they're living. Where I assumed it was Kensington Whole Foods, and I'm pretty sure that others have proven this since, is because it is the nearest one. It's 8 minutes walk from Kensington Gardens. It's just up the road. Harry describes getting there, and the description fits getting to Kensington Whole Foods. And also there's like an escalator and everything. Like the description fits Kensington Whole Foods. But people were saying, okay, where is the video from that experience that she had? If you want to check out that video of mine, the Meghan Pages, it's in that, what happened at the supermarket. Oh, yes. In the video where Will shouldn't trust Harry, a really good comment was made because I said in that video that Harry mentioned where the family has pre-Christmas lunch drinks in like a private room, and that worried me because they'd all be there, you know. And a person commented down below that they don't have Christmas at Buckingham Palace, they have it at Sandringham. Yes, you're correct, and I should have made that clear at the time. What I was talking about was lower ranking family members have their Christmas lunch with the Queen, I think it's about a month before Christmas, and they gather at Buckingham Palace, and this would be where they have the pre-Christmas lunch cocktails. So lower-ranking members of the royal family and higher-ranking members attend the lunch, but the Queen puts it on because she can't have everybody at Sandringham. There was some really funny comments about the Anne video where I very cheekily said, should Harry be seated next to Mike Tindall, because of the nasty comments he made possibly about Princess Anne. And there were funny comments, and this was one. Mike Tindall should sit on Harry's side and the Duchess Sophie should sit on Meghan's side. I thought that was funny because who can forget Sophie's side-eye at Meghan during the Commonwealth service, the one just before they left to leave forever. That side-eye from Sophie was quite significant. I would call it more a side-eye. I would call it a withering stare. I wouldn't have wanted to be the recipient of that one. And this was funny. I have a recurring fantasy that Harry finds himself in a room with Princess Anne and can't escape. I imagine this would be one of Harry's worst nightmares, and he would be right. That was good. Oh, a lot of people commented too. They took exception to the fact that I acted like Mike Tyndall would have to stick up for Princess Anne. I want to clarify that. I know Princess Anne can stick up for herself. I was not implying that. I was assuming that she would be busy at the coronation and that she would be right up the front like pride of place because she's so important in the family that she wouldn't be sitting where Harry and Meghan are sitting, you see. Also, some people took umbrage at the fact that I said that because they didn't see the joke of it and they said that I was trying to incite violence against Harry. Not at all. I have never known Mike Tyndall to do a violent act against anybody, and that, I wouldn't imagine that he ever would. He's a really nice guy. Oh, yes, another really interesting comment from someone was that Princess Diana herself said that Charles was a really good father. And she said it in an interview. In fact, she said it in several interviews. And she said she didn't have a problem with Charles at all as a father. He was a really good father, that the problems were between her and him as husband and wife. So I thought that was an intriguing statement. So there's just a few little tidbits, a few juicy bits from the book that probably needed to be said, and a few comments from you. Please keep leaving the comments because they're so interesting. I can't reply to all of them because I work and I homeschool one teen that I have left and, life. But I do read them all over a few days. I do read them all and I do try to respond to some. So thank you very much. Leave a comment down below. Make sure you hit the bell and subscribe. I know that's a pain when people say that, but it's how you get notified when I upload, because I'm not sort of in a solid schedule yet. I'm uploading when I think of something good to tell you, basically. Okay, so until next time, bye-bye.